Hi, this is Jacob with ESPN Esports, and we're here with Sherry Nhan. How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty busy day, but we're here now.
How's your Evo been?
Amazing. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to explore the venue yet, but that's because I've been playing for the past 2 days. But again, Evo's always been amazing.
What does an Evo weekend look like for you? I know you do a lot more than just play. You're a community influencer. You do various different business things.
Yeah.
What does something like this weekend look like for you?
I mean, it's crazy because back in the day, I was just a player. So I got to actually explore the whole venue. And nowadays, I say for the past couple of years, I've had to schedule a couple interviews, and like the normal walk from here to the hotel would normally be like 5 minutes. Now I get stopped all along the way for pictures and stuff. It's just, and I had a panel earlier that I had to do yesterday. So a lot of running around, trying to make it on time for appointments, and I've missed a couple.
When I first started following you, you were just a player. You've expanded. You've been on reality TV with eLeague. You've done various different other things. We'll talk about eFight Pass in a little bit.
Yeah.
But what has it been like, sort of like expanding your role within the FGC?
I mean, it's crazy because like it wasn't like something I was looking for. I honestly came here just to play, and people would, and you know, as the community grew, more opportunities grew. So that's where the whole eLeague thing came. And people were just like, dude, you should try out for it. You'd be really cool on the show. And I said, you know what, let's do it. And I got selected, and just, I feel like I'm blessed because there's been so many opportunities, and I've been able to like take part of a lot of them.
What was your panel about?
Women in the FGC panel.
So I want to ask you about that. I was with Cayenne earlier.
Yeah.
I love fighting games generally, and I love Evo. It's one of my favorite events of the year.
Yeah.
And when I come here, it's such a diverse set of people, whether that be in gender or nationality or race.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? What makes fighting games so incredibly inclusive?
Okay, so I've actually answered a similar question like this before, but I think fighting games is so amazing. Just actually a lot of competitive games in general. It's similar to like math, where it's universal. Like I don't even need to speak French in order to talk to you, or like Spanish, because there's so many international players here. I don't even need to talk to them, but because we play the same game, we understand like what's cheap, what's not cheap. We can make jokes about like, you know, I can walk up to a French player and be like, oh my God, Rashid, and then we would both start laughing because we both understand how cheap Rashid is. And I think it's amazing because we can do that for other games as well. We know about all the broken characters in Smash, and again, it's just like playing fighting games or playing competitive games in general is just like universal language, and it's really easy for us to connect with other people over it.
You know, the rest of esports doesn't necessarily have that like fighting games does. Why do you think that is? Why do you think fighting games in particular are way more diverse versus like League of Legends or Counter-Strike or whatever it may be? What's special about these?
Actually, I feel fighting games is like the best genre to me because we actually don't have to play a lot of online tournaments. A majority of our tournaments are in person. And when you have that, so many people have to travel around the world, and not just professional players, like even local players, they have to travel around the world, and we all meet each other and we all become friends, and it builds a really positive environment.
You mentioned people traveling all around the world. You're helping with that now.
Yeah.
Our colleagues at ESPN Brazil just did an article about an eFight Pass, your new business that you're involved in, helping players get visas and coming to America. How did that start? How did we get to this point?
It's really funny because it started near the end of last year. I don't really travel to international tournaments much. This is actually my first year. I made it a thing. Like, I really pushed for traveling internationally. But last year, I went to Mexico. That's how I met ElTigre, who's one of the players in my program. And then I also met Crossover from Dominican Republic. And they all explained to me their situation because I was like, you guys are so good. Why don't you guys ever compete in the U.S.? We have so many tournaments here. And they both explained to me that it's really hard to get approved for a U.S. visa. And I kind of looked up some information on it, and it was like 160 USD in order to apply. I was like, you know what, I can give up 160 USD, like I can give up 2 meals or so to help this player get his visa. And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know, we're a great community, we're really supportive of each other. I'm sure if I make this like a public thing, people would want to contribute to it, and then I'd be able to help out more players. So that's kind of where I thought of the program. Logan Salma actually came up with a name for it. And then I was like, you know what, let me make a website for it so all the information on how to get a visa is accessible. And players all over the world, some that I've never even heard of, they'd be able to apply because I honestly don't know all the players around the world. I just wanted to make an outlet for people to reach out to me and for like another outlet for the community to actually help.
So Justin Wong is on board now.
Yeah.
I read in the story he's a good friend of yours. What was it like sort of recruiting him into this venture?
No, it's funny because Justin's always had his own program where he sponsors one player out for one tournament. And for Evo, he did this thing on Twitter where any player could send video submissions to him, and he selected a few that he would fly out to Evo. And we were just casually talking online through Facebook Messenger. He's like, this is really hard for me to like find players. I'm not sure which one I should choose. And I was like, and a couple hours before that, Zenith, the player from Brazil, he was talking to me and he's like, I'm so grateful my visa got approved, thank you so much, but honestly, the ticket's $1,200 USD, I don't know where I'm gonna come out with the money to go to Evo. He's like, I might not be able to make it. And I was like, okay, I told him, I was like, let me figure something out. So like, coincidentally, hours later, Justin was like, I don't know who to choose. So I was like, hey, so I got some players that might need a bit of help to Evo, and Justin just responded with, ha ha ha. Like, it's a casual joke, I wasn't sure if he was gonna take it seriously. And about an hour later, he messaged me, he's like, realistically, how much would you need in order to fly out your players? And then I told him the number, and he was like, I got you. He sent it over right away. And it was amazing because I messaged the group, I messaged Zenith, I messaged ElTigre and Anya. I was like, hey, like, I know you guys are worried on how you're gonna get to Evo, but I got you guys a sponsor, and I'll announce it later. And, that's how it went down. And me and Justin, I flew over to Vegas for a day, and Justin and I, we made the announcement video together.
So I want to ask you about that. The fighting game community is not like a very wealthy one, right? Like even some of the top players, Justin's sort of the exception to the rule, and Sonic Fox and others. It wasn't too long ago you guys were struggling to get here from a monetary perspective. What does it feel like to get back?
It's amazing. It's funny because when I was in the community already when I graduated from college, and I took a year off, and I just competed for a whole year straight. And I was struggling really, really hard. And it's funny because I share the same struggle that these players, maybe not the same exact experience, but I totally understand where they're coming from when they're just like, I wish I could really go to this tournament, but I just don't have money for a flight, a hotel, or even food. And that was around 2014, 2015. And then I forced myself to get a job after, so now I am working full time. And I try to juggle between both. And luckily enough, I was able to make enough just to support others, just a little bit. But again, a lot of the help for eFight Pass came from the community. Because without them, without the charity tournament that it threw at Super Arcade in May, there's no way I could have funded the entire wave 2 of eFight Pass.
So how do you choose players? There are a lot of them out there from various different countries. Visa problems exist everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you select who you want to bring to things like this?
It's really hard to choose the players because honestly, I don't know a lot of the players. So when they pitch themselves to me through the application, like, it sounds amazing. They're like, oh, I'm from this area, I'm the best here, I'm #1 online. And it's really hard to choose because there's a good amount of applicants. And with the funding that we have, it's not a lot. And actually, wave 1 was ElTigre. He was only one player. And I just wanted to make sure, he was kind of like the beta test. I just wanted to make sure that he could, with my help, he would be able to get his visa. So when he got his approved, I was like, okay, I can officially announce this and start grabbing people for wave 2. Justin, he donated $500 immediately. And then we got a lot of donations for that tournament. And that tournament went all to the players in wave 2 and the hotel fees. So now with wave 3, it was a bit easier with wave 2 because there were a lot of personal recommendations from players that I knew. Like Arslan, he just had won Evo Japan. It was really easy for me to choose him. Anya, I knew her. I never knew her personally, but I met her. Actually, I didn't meet her. I was there at Thunderstruck when she won Tekken. And she won Tekken twice in a row at Thunderstruck. Let's see, Husseini, he's from Cameroon. He was a personal recommendation from a lot of notable players, like Hurricane, one of the best in the UK, Nasir from NorCal, and Dr. African, who just beat Fudo here. They're very reputable players. So if I hear that your recommendation from reputable players, I'll usually, you're almost guaranteed in. But at this point in wave 3, I'm kind of out of those players. So I'm sifting through all the applications and I'm watching all the videos that they're linking me. And I kind of show it to other my friends. I've shown it to Justin before. I've shown it to some really good SoCal players. And they'll be like, oh yeah, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. He looks like he's really good. Then they're usually selected.
It's interesting to me, how did you learn how to do this sort of stuff from a visa perspective? I talk to immigration attorneys all the time about esports. It's super hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and it's only gotten progressively harder in the last couple of years. How did you start surrounding yourself with the people that knew how to do this and educating yourself to be able to help these players?
Well, so at first when I was working with ElTigre, I did a lot of online research, and it just gives me basic knowledge. And obviously that information is very general information. It doesn't work for specific cases. And so I went on Yelp, and I looked up an immigration lawyer, and one of them had free consultation. So I kind of just stuck my way in. I made an appointment with him, and when I got to their office, they're like, okay, tell me what your case is. I said, okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't have a personal case of my own. I'm kind of here just on behalf of my program. I just want to make sure that everything I'm doing is legal, and there's some questions that I have, and I just want to know what you as a lawyer would do in that situation. And I'm not gonna go around saying that I'm an immigration lawyer. I just want to know some advice for specific situations. And the guy was really nice, and he was like, this sounds like an interesting program. I'd love to help you. And we talked about for an hour and a half, and he gave me all the information, like what kind of visas I should be applying for these players, and what category would put them into a P1 visa, which is much more difficult. A P1 visa is kind of out of my hands at this moment, honestly. But from then on, it was amazing because I went public with the program after, and then I coincidentally did some video shoot for a clothing line for women gamers, and there was another immigration lawyer there, Jeannie. She actually handles the situation for visas for like LCS players and stuff like that. And I told her about my program, and she's like, I would love to help you if you ever have any information. Like, we should meet up, we can talk, have lunch, dinner, whatever. So I've been getting a lot of support from like third parties, and it's great.
It's really fascinating to see, seriously.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. For more Evo coverage and fighting game coverage, stay tuned to ESPN.com/esports and YouTube.com/ESPN Esports.